Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How
Alhamdulillah.
are you doing? I have just a quick question. Do Christians have a problem with the fact that all the profound statements used for the divinity of Jesus, the ego eimi, are found only in the Gospel of John?
So what? Indeed. So what was the question again? Do the Christians have
a problem? Yeah, because I see it as an internal inconsistency. Because all the profound statements of the divinity, the ego eimi, are only found in the Gospel of John.
Correct.
For the Christian, is this problematic?
I see what you mean. Yes and no. For the average Christian that you're likely to meet, it's not a problem because they are not looking at the four Gospels in the way that modern historians do. So they're looking at Matthew, Mark, and Luke as the synoptic Gospels have so much material in common, the same writing style, the teaching's very similar. And then John's like a different world where Jesus speaks and says things which are very different. Your average Christian is not aware of that, and they kind of mix and match it all together. So they'll read a bit of Matthew, a bit of John, a bit of Mark, a bit of Luke, all together. It's like the birth at Christmas time is kind of a composite bit of Matthew and Luke smashed together with a bit of legend thrown in. They're not aware of the clear differences between the four Gospels. That's a fruit. That awareness of the Gospels in that way is a fruit of biblical scholarship. And you've hit on a really important point. The ego eimi, the I am the way, the truth, and the life. Before Abraham was I am the resurrection and the life. I am the way, the truth, and the life. All these statements, amazing public statements, according to John's Gospel, are only found in John's Gospel. They're not found in Luke, who says in the beginning of his Gospel, the prologue, dear Theophilus, this guy he's talking to, I'm writing an orderly account of all the things that happened to Jesus whilst he was, around, etc. He never mentions this. Mark doesn't mention this. Matthew doesn't mention this. In fact, no one else mentions it. Now, why is this? Because the view of virtually all scholars in the world, and this is not known to your average Christian, who are shocked to hear this, but nevertheless, it remains the case. The view of biblical scholars is that John, the Gospel of John, being the last gospel written towards the end of the first century, gives us a highly theologized account of Jesus' life. Put it this way, and this is how Richard Burridge from King's College puts it in his book, What Are the Gospels, which is the classic work on the text. He says that the author of the fourth gospel believes Jesus is the light of the world. That's the author's belief. So he puts that statement on the lips of Jesus. So he has Jesus say, I am the light of the world. So to understand the Gospel of John, says this writer, Richard Burridge from King's College, who's a professor of Bible there, you've got to, in a sense, change the pronouns. Instead of he said, say, I believe Jesus is the world, the light of the world. So it's not historical. The historical Jesus didn't make these claims, because if he had, if Jesus went around making these amazing statements in broad daylight around Judea and whatever, how come no one else noticed apart from John? Why did Luke fail to mention this? Why did Mark? Why did Matthew? Why does no one else in history mention this apart from that late gospel? So it's a highly interpreted, highly theologized account. In other words, to put it in crude language, which Christians will find offensive, but I will use it, it's a fictional account of the life of Jesus. It's fiction. It's not history. It's a confession of faith rather than fact, if I can put it that way. Christians will find that very offensive. When Bart Ehrman speaks like that, well, not quite as crude as that, he gets a lot of blowback as well. But this is what we're talking about. We must be clear, I think, to people that when Billy Graham in his great preaching crusades, as he called them, crusades, said, but Jesus says, I am the light of the world. The whole world of biblical scholarship would have said, no, he didn't. This is fiction. The historians don't believe he said that. It's just bad news, I'm afraid. I'm not making this stuff up. Check it out for yourself, really. I discovered this. As a Christian, I was shocked when I found out that no scholars believe Jesus actually said those words. It really rocked me. Anyway.
Hopefully that's...
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jazakallah khairan.
Ameen wa iyyak. Barakallah feekum, Brother Usama.